There's no way that a mouse could kill a scorpion.
Dude, a mouse could kill a sharp claws.
A rat
and teeth.
could kill a scorpion.
Well, no shit, Frank, but we're not talking about a rat. We're talking about a little
We're
mouse.
talking about a rat. It still would lose.
I know,
Right?
it's a little mouse fighting a scorpion. And that is final.
Shut up! Oh my God, I don't care!
Play that sax. Give it to me. You better play that sax. Okay. Yeah. You better play that sax.
Hello everyone, hope you guys are having a fabulous day and a beautiful week. Hope you guys have been enjoying yourself and having a lot of fun, because today we'll be getting into some very funny anime retardation.
We'll see who's smiling when I'm kicking your ass! Spirit gun! Oh my gosh.
Which of course, if you saw the title of the video, will be involving solo leveling. But before I actually get into the content of the video, I just want to always say this again at the beginning of my videos, that if you guys could drop me a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe, let me know how I'm doing, hit the notification bell, all that good jazz. All that stuff really does make a difference when it comes to my videos and comes to any content creators videos. It shows YouTube that you are engaging with the individual's content, and this way they can hopefully boost that video more into the algorithm, and Lord knows most small content creators need them. So again, that's always appreciated. That's always very, very much a positive to me, and I really enjoy what little bit you guys do engage with. I love doing this and I want to continue doing it. Anyways, so let's get into the video. Solo Leveling was a Korean manhwa that was later adapted into an anime by the studio A1 Pictures. It blew up in popularity ever since it was debuted back in January 6, 2024. The concept grabbed many viewers' attentions, with the obvious underdog story turned into an unstoppable powerhouse, mixed with the stellar animation, fast-paced action, and of course the MC, who can only be described as a Korean Chad. With all that in the series, you sure got enough to entice any anime fans to check it out. However, to some fans' shock, something happened in the most recent episode that made it hit 2K dislikes on Crunchyroll. The episode in question was episode 9, season 2, or episode 21, how Crunchyroll shows on its listing. To understand what people's perception as to why this episode received such a controversial dislike than every other episode that's come out prior, we have to kind of understand Solo Leveling and its actual plot. Solo Leveling is essentially a world where instead of someone being transported in isekai and going to a fantasy world, the fantasy world somehow gets put into our world with these things called gates. These gates open up to dungeons, where these monsters are able to break free within a week's time if no one is able to close the dungeons. However, our modern day weapons have no effect on these mythical creatures. However, due to some divine intervention, human beings were able to unlock some enlightened abilities that gave them the opportunity to fight back. Their strength, speed, agility can increase well past superhuman. Well, if you were lucky enough to have a large concentration levels of mana, that is. However, due to this, human beings created the Hunters Association, which with one of their tasks is to assess hunters via their mana levels to see where they be placed on the ranking. The ranks follow a traditional letter system. So the top of the class all the way is S, and the very bottom is E. Thus enters our protagonist. He's an E rank hunter, the lowest one that's ever come into existence. And even though he's the weakest by far and can barely hold his own against goblins, pushes himself to do this line of work and for his sister and mother's sake. You see, his sister wants to become a doctor, and of course he needs to save up money for her tuition. In the case of his mother, however, she becomes ill from an actual illness that started appearing due to exposure from high concentration amounts of mana due to the gates and due to people awakening their lane abilities. She now is in a coma and forever will stay like that because nothing in modern medicine has been able to find any way to reawaken them from their eternal sleep. Some time passes between that, and after gaining the ability to level up, he vows he'll get stronger so he can one day find a cure to heal his mother, and eventually does, gaining what's called the Elixir of Life, giving it to her and waking her up finally from a comatose state. Jin, who has been regularly visiting his mother in the hospital, who hasn't heard her speak or utter a word in over 4 years, breaks down into tears at the very sight of her waking up from a rest. And that's it. That's what many people believe to be the controversy with this episode, and with what a lot of people on X have been going on about, as shown by Anime News Central. So, the post reads, Solo Leveling Season 2, Episode 9 becomes the first season to hit over 1K dislikes on Crunchyroll. The last episode showcased Jin's emotional reunion with his mother. So, from how the post is worded, you can easily interpret what Anime News Center is implying. That being the reason for the spike in dislikes in this episode is due to Jin shedding tears for the fact that his mother is now awakened. Jin, who many identify as his ever-growing, cold-hearted, emotionless, unstoppable badass, is now shedding and crying tears of joy because his mommy's back. At least, that's how we can assume. If you don't believe me, all we need to do is read some of the actual replies underneath the post to find out. This proves anime watchers only want mindless action for their shonen smooth brains. They don't want story, character development, world building, just mindless action. Please branch out of different genres, I beg y'all to watch more shows. Crying emoji. My only complaint is that this episode should have come out in last week's one. It's not an episode that should have taken a whole week to release. I can understand the dislikes, like why are we talking about childhood now? Imagine Saitama running around one-punching things and doing his gags for 2 seasons straight, and then randomly one episode we found out his brother that we've never heard about met ultimate space cancer. How? It was such an emotional episode. It legit was the payoff that motivated his everything. How did people not cry during this episode? So you get the general idea, back and forth between each of the commenters in this post, all kind of explaining what their problem is with the others' perception of what's happening. Some see the episode as filler, others see that people are not actually able to, like, why can't they pay attention to the story, this makes sense, things like that. Someone else, of course, would chime in with this with a bit more of a higher platform, which would be Chibi Reviews, someone who I often like to refer to in some of my anime videos, mainly because he is one of the more prominent voices in the anime community that does content on YouTube.
He's dealt with a lot, and so he shows weakness in this episode. He starts crying, and then because of this, it becomes the most disliked episode, and it's like, action/shonen fans can never escape the allegations that they literally are just basically meatheads that only like action and they only like pretty animation, and if there's any nuance or character development or a great story, they absolutely hate it, because it's like when you see stuff like this, it gives ammo and reason to why people constantly meme on action/shonen fans.
Now, I chose a specific clip from that video he made on Solo Leveling a couple weeks back, and the reason why I wanted to show just that clip because it kind of gets the point across from one of his perspectives. And I don't want people to think I took them out of context, so of course I will always link all sources and everything I use for my videos in the link in the description below. So of course you can make your own judgment. And I will say, he did say there could have been other reasons why the video was disliked. He brought up botting for one as an actual example, and even he says that while that could be a little bit of the numbers as to why it was disliked so heavily, it wouldn't be the overall reason why it was. Another thing he mentions, and one I actually kind of agree with in a small extent, is when you have a series blow up and it becomes hugely popular, no matter what. It could be an anime, it could be a movie. There are of course going to be people who see something as being overrated because it's now jumped into the mainstream and you have a lot more people getting into it. Because of that, oftentimes you will have people who of course show a little bit more unwarranted hatred towards a product or a piece of medium because, well, it's blown up, it's big, it's loved, and people are like, well, I don't see why everybody else loves it, I don't love it. You know, it's stupid, but it does happen. But for anyone to use those two examples as the main argument, I'd find laughable, because I don't think those two would cause such a detriment to anything to actually cause an uproar. I think it is possible that those did some numbers to the actual series, but again, if you look at some of the past episodes from Season 1 and even the beginning of Season 2, likes to dislike ratio just wasn't there. It would probably have a few hundred versus this past episode's over 2K. And again, I'll of course give my perspective after this, but I want to go back into Chibi's other point, the one I showed, which is him talking about how people just want mindless action. Having such an emotional moment takes away from Jin going around and beating the shit out of the Beast and other people and humans, yada yada yada, that old argument, right? And you know what? This could be the case. This is a lot stronger of an argument than anything else. However, I don't agree with it fully, but before that, I can see and sympathize with that general sentiment. One of the best examples I can give right now is the John Wick series. I love John Wick 1. I think John Wick 1 does a really decent job of establishing who John is without directly showing us his past. Vigo gives his very long speech telling to his son, this is John Wick, this is who he is, and this is why he's gonna come for you and why you fucked up. And during that time, we see John basically emphasizing the very characteristics Vigo has mentioned to him while sledging the hammer into the ground. Literally, John Wick 1 is a phenomenal movie. They did a great job of structuring while making John feel very human in every sense of the word. John Wick 2 came along and they kind of jumped the gun a bit with a lot of the craziness with the bulletproof suit and all that stuff, and from there the movies just took off into higher and higher popularity while just basically jumping the shark after jumping the shark after jumping the shark after blowing up the shark, getting a bigger shark, and then jumping that. I don't like John Wick. I'm not a big fan of John Wick 3 and 4. 2 I can handle. The other two, those movies destroyed what could have been an amazing franchise. Anyways, that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is, I do think Chibi is onto something, and I do believe that he is correct that one of the issues that plagued this particular episode was because there were those people who just wanted to see Jin go in there, big dick swinging, act like the John Wick of Korea. However, I still don't think that's the exact reason why there's been so many dislikes. And the reason why I say that is because Chibi made 2 of the videos after the fact, and in his second video he brings up is the fact that the current episode at the time, which I believe was episode 10 of season 2, that episode got a lot of dislikes too. In fact, I think it actually got more. I'll show it on screen so this way you can see it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that got more dislikes than the prior episode. And then the newest episode just dropped as well about, I want to say 2 days ago. That episode 11 or episode 23, that has over 2K dislikes as well. About the same amount as the episode we've been talking about this entire time. And this episode was filled with a lot of high-paced action. Everything everyone would have wanted. From the lead up to these guys attacking the island. Actually going in and doing their job. You know, what we've been building up to for 2 seasons. So why was it disliked so much? Well, here's one of my theories, and Chibi actually mentioned the same thing, which is surprising to me, but I'll go along with what I'm going to say. In every episode thus far, it's left on a very big cliffhanger. The episode prior to this dislike, the first one we've been talking about, ended with Jin going to see the other S-rank heroes, and when we were told that, hey, there's going to be a small mock battle between the Korean S-rank heroes and the Japanese S-rank heroes who came to assist. Cliffhanger, we don't see anything. Alright, starting to the next episode, we go into Jeju Island. We're getting ready to depart, and these guys are going to do their jobs and basically like completely wipe out the menace on this island. They start doing that, action takes into place. While that's going on, we cut over to the Japanese S-rankers who are bored doing their job of just clearing away the ants on the island. Boom, head gets lopped off. Big enemies there, someone just died. Oh no, fuck, what is this enemy? What's gonna happen? Cliffhanger. This episode's no different. The latest one, we just saw the S-heroes get wiped. Completely mollywopped by this new foe. And then this foe's like, you know what, y'all ain't worth my time, I'm gonna go over here and fuck up this guy instead. And as he goes, meets this guy who is considered to be the strongest of the S-rank heroes from Japan, and might even say the actual strongest amongst the S-rank heroes in Korea. A fight between him and the final boss gets cliffhanged. To me, a more likely scenario is the fact that people are just really, really antsy and just like, oh my god, I can't wait for more, yes, give me more, and then it cuts, and people are just getting really, really upset. Now, is that a stupid reason for that to happen? 100%. You shouldn't fault a series because it actually gets your attention and it makes you want more. The idea of water cooler talk, of after like, you know, a heavy work day and you're on your break and you meet the other guys at the water cooler and you get to chat, right? That old tired concept, but it still kind of exists online. But yeah, so back in the day, you used to have like very popular shows, Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, all these series people used to love going there and talking about, excited for the next episode. Well, even though anime has become much more mainstream and popular, it's still niche by comparison. So we have people who really do love to have those conversations, but they're mostly online. They're mostly among friends you know IRL. This isn't something that you're going to be talking about at your work Exactly. You might have a friend or two that's there, or you might have someone that you know that's interested in anime themselves. But ultimately, it's going to come down to what you talk with people online. And when you have a series like this, you're itching for more. You're craving more. You want to see more. And if the writers keep leaving you on a cliffhanger, some people are going to feel like, like you're cock blocking them, you're blue balling them. They have an itch that you're not scratching anymore. It's kind of like the creators are a drug dealer, and they're giving you the free sample, and you're like, oh yes, this is delicious. Give me more. I want the high. And they're like, you gotta pay. But in this case, the money isn't actually money; it's time. He's like, sure, I'll give you more, but you have to be patient. And some people just cannot do that. Some people cannot be patient and wait for something else to come along. And that could be part of the reason why these episodes have been getting disliked. And again, the actual bot thing and the people just hate watching it and downvoting it because they hate how popular it is. I think that's such a minor point to almost to the point where it's like not even existent. I don't see that as an actual reason to cause for concern as to why that's there. And again, if that was the reason why this was getting anywhere close to the amount of downvotes it was, this would have happened during the beginning of season 2. Yet all past episodes have only gotten around 600, 500 dislikes over the thousands upon thousands of likes he got. So I think the more likely scenario is the one everyone kind of leans to, which is people being unsatisfied with the episode because there wasn't enough action happening, so it wasn't there grabbing their attention. And I think there is some evidence to that claim just looking at some of the posts people left, saying it was filler, saying it was unnecessary, that the actual scenario didn't make any sense. Hell, there's a post I want to show back on the screen. I know I showed it earlier, but I'm gonna show it again and literally read this post. Look at this. Imagine Saitama running around one punching things for doing his gags for 2 seasons straight, and then randomly one episode you find out his brother that never heard, what the fuck is this grammar, or met has ultimate super space cancer.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
I feel like a mom right now who looks at their child and says, you had the entire summer vacation to do this book report. Why didn't you read it? Why didn't you read it? You're not going to know anything about anything when you go back to school. Why did you not watch the actual series? It baffles me. From Git, we understand what Jin's entire reasoning for becoming a hunter was. His sister, his mom. Oh, what's this? His mom's sick with the eternal sickness? Oh, shit. Oh, what? I have the strength now to, figure out how to heal her? What's this? There's an actual thing called the elixir of fucking life to do so? Okay, I'm gonna spend my time now getting the items I need to create said elixir. It wasn't random. We knew this was happening. I don't understand this entire post, why it exists. I can only surmise that this guy probably is either trolling or genuinely did not actually understand that from the story. If so, my god, it's whatever. But still, there are people like him or them that watch series that do this, where they just miss one bit of it. Actually, I can't even say that they missed one bit of it. This is a constant thing. I'm gonna harp on this for a while, so I'm gonna stop right there. But yeah, and of course the other main reason is the fact that people don't like being kept in suspense, and people just felt upset and angry the fact that they had to wait longer to get their conclusion. But it's kind of how usually stories work. Cliffhangers are always going to be a thing. I guess people just probably felt like it was being used abundantly in this part of the story. I can't say much. I really didn't feel it. I typically don't have a problem with cliffhangers unless it's unnecessary, meaning you had One Piece does a lot of moments where they have a lot of cliffhangers, but only because fucking Toei likes to expand the animation for so long that you can only be left on the cliffhanger because how long they drag out episodes after episodes for One Piece. It is embarrassing and I hate it. But yeah, to wrap things up, that's essentially the entire controversy. I thought it was funny, actually. Yeah, I'm getting upset, but at the same time, I'm getting upset because, there are specific people who have just said ridiculous things, and there's some things people have just kind of harped on that was not necessary. But ultimately, there's not much you can do. Like, a series like this is always going to draw in crowds from all sides, and situations like this are always going to occur. But ultimately, I'm excited for the season finale of Solo Leveling. I know a lot of people are too, for the conclusion. I'm just excited for this upcoming season of anime. I think there's a lot we gotta look forward to, and I can't wait. Ultimately, I don't think there's a problem with people just liking action. Ultimately, I don't think there's an issue with people, of course, wanting more from their stories. It's something we all have a chance to discuss about and engage with. My thing is the fact that, as always, I want people to look at everything as objectively as they can. Subjectivity is good, but being focused in on what's being present in writing for consistency, for characters, for story, for plot, that's all needed to have, and I think Solo Leveling does that for a good extent. Actually, just kind of breaking away from that right now, I am currently working on a couple of different reviews. One is being Solo Leveling Season 1. That script is being written right now. I'm on my way to try to finish it. I just needed to redraft it and then redraft it again, because I typically like to redraft a few times before I actually have the finished product. Other than that, I have a lot of apologizing to do for my lack of actual uploads, and I don't think talking about everything is going to be good. I plan on doing a stream soon, and I guess I'll talk about it there. If not, I'll just let my work speak for itself, because I'm coming back and doing more videos again, and I plan on doing a lot more different content as well, but still focusing on gaming and anime. I have a couple of different things I'm working towards. I want to want to surprise you guys with it, so hopefully you guys like it coming in soon. Other than that, I thank you guys for bearing with me. I thank you guys for subscribing. I thank you guys for liking the channel, hitting the notification bell so you can see my videos when they appear, leaving comments. Again, as always, please leave comments at the end of this video too. Let me know how you did. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if you don't agree with me. Feedback is always welcome, so is criticism. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I can't wait to continue working on more stuff. For now, this is Dula signing off, and I hope you guys have a great, wonderful rest of your week. Good night, good morning, good afternoon. Bye.